Yo! Welcome back. It's D-Roy in the motherfucking building. If you're new here, welcome to the family. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today we're going over one of my favorite street interview channels for male and female dynamics. It's complicated. We're gonna just dive right into it because I have no clue what this video is about. But I just want to say we are 604 people deep. We're 604 people deep in the family. So for everyone who's subscribed, I appreciate you. Everyone who's watching, you're very appreciated. Trust and believe that. So we're gonna just dive right in and see what this mystery box has to offer.
Why is a woman's love more likely something that needs to be earned through courtship than a man's love?
Because we're worth more than anything in the world.
Because men could get off to anything, and I feel like girls need a little more persuasion to be with someone.
I think women are more like consensual and into love than men are sometimes.
I feel like a lot of the time we might be harder to please, and that the extra effort at the beginning through courtship is something that's greater appreciated through women than men.
I was just gonna say that men are kind of trash.
Yo, that was not what I was expecting. We got LeBron's twin sister here, just waiting to drop the bombs on men. But, you know, we have that stigma already. It's already common. Men are trash. But we want to hear what she has to say. We want to hear what she has to say. She's literally, look at her. She's literally towering over this girl. She's about like a good 6'4", I feel like. So look at her. She has to look up to even see her fucking bottom of her nose. So let's see what she has to say.
It's also a little old school, I feel like, to be a little more like the courting phase as opposed to the wheeling and dealing that happens these days.
Why is a man expected to proudly give away his assets in the hopes that a woman will reciprocate?
Because we give that bomb ass pussy.
Why did society set things up that way?
Yeah, girl, I know. I told
Shawty's dumbfounded.
Why is a man expected to proudly give away his assets in the hopes that a woman will reciprocate?
Yo. She looks like one of those street mines that pull up to your car and try to mime in front of you for change. And you have to like wave them down. Like you're telling them no, but they want you to sign them away. Like, no, bye. And just like get rid of them. But look at this, right? Look at this right here. What's the difference if this was a guy and I said this and, you know, it was just all jokes. But I can guarantee that someone's going to jump in here and be like, oh, he's such an asshole. Why is he making fun of this lady? Such a beautiful bombshell lady that, you know, is all equal to all of us, is all so beautiful, like all of us girls. And the shaming will begin. But I'm just making predictions right now, so I have no clue, but we'll see.
Because why not give her values when she deserves it?
Well, what makes a woman deserve it any more than a man does?
Because she provides a family, life-wise.
But doesn't the man provide the seed that allows a woman to give birth?
Right. So it'll be both ways. I guess they both can be rewarded. They get both rewarded.
Well, why don't women typically court men the way men are expected to court women?
Probably because they're scared. They're probably going to overpower women.
If I were to go on a first date again, I would want to be courted. I would want to feel special. Girls.
Yo, where the fuck is he? Like, where is he finding all these fucking giants? Yo, she Yo, she's literally towering over her. She could dunk on her at any moment's notice. Look, this short girl gotta have her guard up at all times. Yo, what the fuck is he? Is he at a basketball camp? What the fuck?
Girls take that more into consideration than guys do, so I feel like that's why guys should do that more than.
Well, don't you think that a man also wants to feel special?
I think so too, but
So
I feel like
why don't women court men?
They should.
absolutely.
Well,
it goes both ways.
they should, but are they?
Depends on the woman.
Well, I mean, how often does that happen?
Not often.
Getting down to the
Okay.
Well, then
Why-
maybe the man isn't looking for the right woman. If that's
Why do you think that there isn't a
It's
push
always-
to like
always
have
falls on the
women
man.
court men?
because
to
I
make
think
them
some
feel
people
special.
because I think people look at the old time, but I think it should go both ways. I think you should make your significant other feel special, and I think they should make you feel special.
No, I
Should be a
feel
balance.
yeah, guys definitely feel the same way, no matter how
But
many.
for first
yeah.
date, I just think that you're just trying to impress, and that's why guys pay to impress. But it doesn't have to be that way.
Absolutely.
With that expectation just kind of like continues like the patriarchy and just like, you know what I mean? Like it kind of like plays into it. So actually that's interesting. I just feel like that's the way it's been for so long. And that
But I mean, doesn't
All right. So, you guys know whenever I hear the word patriarchy in one of these videos, my ears start to tune. It's like a dog, right? It's like it just zooms in a little bit more. And it's like, okay, where are you going with this? So, first things first, patriarchy, the magic word to relieve yourself of all accountability on your side. We already know where this is leading to. And it's like, if you've noticed all the stuff these girls were saying, they kept saying, I feel like it should be this way. I feel like this should happen. I feel like this. Well, that doesn't mean it's the reality. Now, it may be in some aspects what they're experiencing, but that doesn't mean that's what's actually happening in the broader population. So, I think there's just, in general, a lack of awareness on both sides, right? Well, it's one more than the other, I'd say. But there's a lack of awareness being the blockage from this communication, right? So that's my perspective.
prove that the patriarchy benefits women?
I think it has pros and cons for both men and women. Yeah.
So why would women want to tear down the patriarchy if there's things in the patriarchy that benefit women?
Because most of it is detrimental.
Yeah.
Most of it is negative.
I'd say like the things in the patriarchy that benefit women in this scenario is like men just treating us with respect, and like the whole courtship situation is like men respecting women and taking them out on dates before they like want to have sex with them or like want to fuck them or whatever. And I feel like that's just general respect, and like if that's the only aspect of the patriarchy that helps women, I'd still fucking tear it down.
Right.
I don't know, like.
For what? What? All right, this is something like, all right, let me address this real quick. Look at these two women, right? Obviously good looking women, very pretty, and they come off very soft, very feminine, right? But at the same time, they're aiming to disband the patriarchy or a system that works to give everyone a broader level of freedom and a broader opportunity. For what? Like, for what? What was their reasoning there? He was like, oh yeah, if the only thing it offers is the possibility for men to, treat us with respect, and that's the only benefit we get, why not tear it down? It's like, at the end of the day, this system is there in place for a reason, because it was useful at some point in time. Now, I'm not saying like it's a tyrannical like thing where men overpower women, because women nowadays have so much more freedom and options, even more than some men. And the thing is, for women with this kind of temperament, obviously like feminine, soft, like I don't know if they're submissive or whatever, right? But for women with this kind of temperament, when there's danger at any moment's notice, who do they rely on to handle that danger? I know sure well that they won't be able to go into those battles or like physical combat and things like that if things do happen within the environment. So to say, all right, cool, let's tear down the whole patriarchy, or, you know, completely disband men and demonize men and the people that make sure that they have the ability and the capacity to live in a society where they can actually be this soft and be this feminine with the possibility to make things happen, right? It's a completely ridiculous thing that I'm seeing women with this freedom, women with this ability, completely demonizing the people that allow them to have the freedom and those abilities. It really makes no sense to me. So I'm probably gonna rant a little bit later on, but at the end of the day, we're just gonna get back into it and see kind of what they're saying.
Helps women, I'd still fucking tear it down.
Right.
I don't know, like.
I think men sometimes are seen as having better jobs and more money than women still, even in this day of age, rather than women are still, I think, a bit seen as the homemakers and the person who looks after the house and the kids.
Do you think modern women are more interested in being nurturing or being independent?
We focus on being independent that we forget about the nurturing part. So I'll say it's a 50-50, but we lean more to independence.
Yeah, because this day and age, these niggas don't be doing what they need to do. These guys don't be doing what they need to do. And we have to pick up the slack. So it's like, you know, independence.
Does a man get to define what a woman is?
Not at all.
So what gives a woman the right to define what a man is?
Double standards, right? These are the double standards we have. Like, oh yeah, this is what a man should be, this is what a man should do. But if men were to say, all right, cool, this is what women should be and this is what women should do, now it's the patriarchy again, right? Now it's toxic masculinity. Now it's, you know, tyrannical patriarchy and trying to use power to subdue women and control women. But if you feel like you have the power to tell another side how they should be, why don't you think they have why don't you think that they should have the ability to tell you what you should be as well? It's always a back and forth. So, you know, this lady with the feather eyelashes, please look at things from a different perspective and put on a cap of understanding what the other side is experiencing along with your experience, obviously. But, you know, you have to gauge what the other side is experiencing to really come to terms with, all right, cool, I may not be in alignment with what I'm looking for. I may not be looking at things from a perspective where I can understand how that situation unfolds and play along in it instead of demonizing it.
History.
Okay, I'd say you're asking a group of girls that would say independent, but I don't.
Wouldn't.
Okay, I'd say you're asking two girls that would say independent.
Independent for sure.
For me, yeah. But I also don't think that not necessarily applies to everyone.
What happens when these women want families?
I think they become nurturing. I think women, the minute they find the person that they think they want to have a family with, become nurturing versus independent. I think they want to have their sense of independence and they try to keep their sense of independence, but I think they naturally become nurturing.
So then wouldn't that mean that the woman's feminine role is conditional while the man's masculine role is static?
Yeah.
Yep, yes. Basically.
Yeah, it would.
Okay, isn't that a privilege for women to be able to pick and choose when they want to be feminine?
But I think that's
yeah,
I think
basically.
we deserve it. Why not? Men get everything else in the world. Men are...
I think there is.
Okay, but wouldn't that basically be saying that you're okay with the double standards only when it benefits you and you're only complaining about the double standards when it doesn't benefit you?
No, I wouldn't say...
That's picking and choosing, right?
I get exactly what you're saying, but I do also think...
She's trying to fight against it. Don't fight it, shorty. Don't fight it.
And I think men still benefit from double standards all the time.
Can you name any double standards that benefit men?
Oh, look to the other people,
I think men working sometimes does benefit them.
Okay, but does that have anything to do with relationships?
Yeah. If a man is working all the time, then it definitely impacts their relationship.
But don't you think that women
what does that
traditionally
mean?
have wanted men to protect and provide for them?
Yeah.
So then would it be any wonder why men are in leadership roles if women wanted it that way?
I don't wonder it sometimes. Like, I think there's certain women who want to be super independent and have the leadership roles, but then I think there's other women who still want to be the nurturing mother type.
I worked hard in my bachelor's and in my life to have a career that I'm going to very much love. I'm going to be financially dependent and I can do things on my own, and just like kind of just having men respect that independence, I would say, is the biggest thing.
I would agree. I think for me, like, also it's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't have to go like preaching about it, but like I think it's just like me knowing in like myself that like I respect myself as a woman, and like I know I am a woman in the world, but also like I am completely independent, and like I'm not gonna need to depend on like another person, let alone another man, to do any of that for me. And I feel like in the past that was most definitely true. Like my grandparents, like she depended on my grandpa for a lot of things, and like I'm not gonna have to do that, and I think that's wonderful. And like women are just doing a lot of things that they weren't able to do before, like right now, and I'm fully behind that. And it's not like a whole, like you said, fuck men situation.
Right,
it's just like
that's not what feminism is.
Yeah,
it's
it's honestly not about men. A lot of people think feminism is
I
about
hope
men,
you
but
do.
like that's the whole like fucking foundation of it, is that it's about being better and like
Feminism claims to be about equality, but is often confused with man-hating. How can feminists repair this misconception?
Good
It's
question.
our job to repair.
Very good question.
I think it's some people's fragile egos, men in particular, that like don't like being targeted like that. I don't know. I just think that that's not ours to repair. Like that was never like the premise on which it was built. It was just built in a way that like, I don't know, we can own our own homes and land and be financially independent and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like, I don't know, some women take feminism as like, oh, fuck men, and like, again, that's not our situation to repair. Like,
yeah, we try to respect the male's feelings as much as possible because they're already offended that we have women's rights. Let them have their dominance.
Why do you think men would be offended that women have rights?
Oh, I hear it all the time.
Can you give me an example? Like what specifically?
I've heard a lot of people say that we shouldn't have rights still today.
Well, I don't know if men are saying that women shouldn't have rights. I think they're just saying that there should be equal accountability.
Oh, equal accountability, I agree with, but to a certain extent.
Can you name any rights that men have that women aren't also afforded today?
Pay. They say that it's illegal now, but I know that they're still doing it on the low, that they pay more men than they do women.
Well, right, but it's
Cap.
illegal, so if that was
Cap.
provable, wouldn't there be class action lawsuits happening every day?
It would definitely be a class action lawsuit, but...
What just happened?
She just slapped my ass.
Okay, so if a man did the same...
Look, whoa. We're not gonna breeze past that. We're not gonna breeze past that, right? Look at what just happened. Where are the cops? Where is the security? Where are the FBI when you need them for this type of sexual assault on a woman by a woman? Where is it? You know what I call that? Female privilege. Where the jail time at? Where's the shaming at? Yeah, I went there. I'm talking about it. Where's that at? We want equal rights, equal accountability, right? So why not go after that girl as viciously as they would go after any guy that did that? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Don't let me get crazy up in this place. I'm telling you, for real.
I don't think it's right either way.
Right, but...
so, like, if a woman were to come slap my ass compared to a man, I feel like that's still not right either way.
That wasn't cool.
Okay, do you believe that the gender pay gap is a real thing?
Yes.
Call the cops.
Yes.
Why aren't women filing class action lawsuits against companies that don't pay them equally?
Because it's like filing that you got raped.
goes right back down the toilet.
Well, yeah, but if it's a class action lawsuit, you would have a lot of people doing it at the same time, right?
Not necessarily, I don't think. I think it also depends on where you work, what you're employed in, and also like what you work as.
Don't people sue for discrimination all the time?
Mhm.
So why would they not sue for sexual discrimination?
It's a great question.
Why are there so many women today who say they don't need a man?
Because we're independent. Most of the women have small businesses or a business, or they probably have a hair salon. That is a business. But yeah, most of them have businesses.
Does the fact that women no longer need men mean the main reason women were with men was because they had to be?
Yeah, it's because they had to be back in the day.
Well, then wouldn't that prove that men were often seen as a utility to be used?
They're still used. They're still tools.
Well, then how is that different than men objectifying women?
The truth comes out.
True. There's no difference.
So then why are men shamed for objectifying women while women will often objectify a man financially?
Because they're muscle heads. Muscle heads.
Does the fact that women no longer need men mean that the main reason women were with men was because they had to be?
Yes.
Originally, yes.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
So wouldn't that prove that men were often seen as a utility to be used?
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah, they
So
are.
then how is that different than men objectifying women?
It's not.
So then why are men shamed for objectifying women sexually when women often objectify men financially?
Because that's the society we live in. That it's like it's a thing to objectify them versus us.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, shouldn't we each be equally shamed?
Yeah.
Or maybe
No, we
nobody
should.
is shamed at all?
No, we should. We should either be
Is
equally
this a
shamed
glimpse
or
of
we should.
accountability?
No,
Why not?
because it's the society we live in.
Well, wouldn't you say that the fact that men are shamed and women aren't shamed maybe is kind of...
But women are still shamed in other reasons, in other ways. We're shamed all the time.
Why is it when women are called out on their bad behavior, they often blame society or how they were raised, but when men are called out, they're more likely to be held accountable?
That's a great question. That's a great fucking question. I don't need to know the answer to that, but I definitely see it.
Is
I
it
definitely
possible?
agree.
Is it possible to have equality without equal accountability?
Nah, that's the wrong. That's what's wrong out here, man. People got to know how to take accountability to stuff, man. Admit when you're wrong. Admit when you don't know something. Admit when you want to learn something.
I mean, if you really want to talk about that, let's just start here. Mother's Day is here. Father's Day is at the bottom. It's not really appreciated. I think the culture and the environment that we're building right now is it's different, you know. It's a lot of women can't get away with more things than a man can. So.
Okay, is it possible to have equality without equal accountability?
I'm gonna say
no.
What is the difference between being
Nah.
old-fashioned and being sexist?
Okay, so being sexist
Bro,
is when you are just.
I want to say, I fuck with this channel so heavy because of the questions. The questions always put you in to look at things in a different paradigm. And you get to compare different paradigms to see, all right, cool. Is what people are doing and saying actually accurate and in alignment with what they say? Like, you know, are actually in alignment? Is what you're doing and saying the same thing? You could be saying this over here, but then this over here is like completely contradicting, and you're like, yeah, double standards. It's just society. But, you know, what's going on with this system? Who knows? We're going to get to it.
Simply unfair to women, and you know you're hypocritical about what a woman can do and can't do and what a man can do and can't do. But being sexist is simply just demeaning women, not caring about what they think, not caring about what they do, just seeing them as less
worked
than.
up. She seems
Why
worked
is it
up.
okay to be old-fashioned in the way men treat women, but it's not okay to be old-fashioned in the way women treat men?
Oh, okay, so you ready for this one? For men to be old-fashioned they're thinking of chivalry. They're not actually opening the door past chivalry. So women still want men to open a door. We still want you to pay for our check, you know, because even though we're together, you still want these things that are old-fashioned. But in the old-fashioned sense, women didn't have a voice. They didn't have anything else. So they didn't have pants to wear in a relationship. And now you're dealing with independent women in the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, isn't that picking and choosing?
It does. Because our world's fucked up.
When you're in a bar or club and you see a man you're attracted to, how do you hit on him? What do you do?
I don't do anything. I never make the first move ever.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
basically.
once again,
The opportunity will pass.
If
Nada.
if women basically don't typically approach men, then aren't men kind of like just by default usually the ones expected to pay because they're the ones expected to approach women? And
I think you just pick 2 women that don't want to, because I know several of my friends were here with like 14 of them that would go up to a guy immediately and be like, hey, what's up? But me, that's just my insecurity. Like, I would never do that. Like, I'm just insecure about that.
So what advice would you give to men who are afraid of rejection?
I would feel like go for it. I feel like if you have the right...
I say go for it, but remember, like, don't be too bold because you can, like, scare.
So why don't women just follow
the same advice?
But
Come on.
That's my that's my own insecurity.
Why is it when it comes to a woman's education or her career, being assertive and going after what you want is a good quality, why not also in dating?
It should be, and that's something I probably should learn.
Absolutely.
Because we're both in college right now. We're seniors in college, so that's definitely something that we probably should learn. But that's just my own insecurity, and I need to.
If a woman chose to approach a man and shoot her shot, do you think she's more or less likely to be rejected than if a man approaches a woman?
I don't think she's more likely to be rejected.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of my guy friends say that's very attractive for a woman to do that.
Yeah.
So then why would women fear rejection when they're far less likely to be rejected?
I feel like it goes. Well, I feel like it goes back to the courtmanship, like of. A girl takes into consideration more than a guy or a male or whatever of having that a guy coming up to them more than a girl going up to a guy, because I feel like a guy would just be like, oh, this girl's just coming up to me, but a girl, they would take that as like, oh my god, this guy, he's interested in me, he wants to. I don't know.
But then sometimes that goes back to the old question. Sometimes they're too bold and it's like scary, and it's like
too much. It's too much, and then you're creeped out.
Don't women often find attractive men cute and romantic when an ugly one doing the exact same thing is creepy?
100%.
So if so, why should a guy even bother trying to be romantic unless the woman already shows interest?
I mean, that's exactly what I think. I think a guy should only go for it if they can see that the woman is like interested back.
So why isn't there more like pressure on the woman to actually like communicate that she's interested rather than being subtle?
I think women just show it a lot differently than men. Men are more outspoken, and I think the girls are more willing to like sit back and see if the man's actually interested in them, because they don't want to be a fool either.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on into like the whole dynamics of like guys approaching girls. Obviously, I think a lot of times the fact that guys are able to go up to a lot of girls, seeing that attention, right? I think in a lot of times the subtle ways is that girls will make the first move if they're really interested in a guy, a lot of times. So it's not going to be obvious and overt, but they will usually do something to try to get some attention from that specific guy. Now, whether it's obvious or not, like I make the joke all the time that, girls will like think about you for like 15 seconds and wonder why you don't approach. But then it's like, that's not effective. But what is effective is if a girl has the ability to broadcast herself to the guy she specifically wants. And it'll help in terms of like making it easy for that guy to approach. But a lot of times if guys don't see some type of interest in general, a lot of guys are still scared to go and approach and talk to that girl because, one, there's a lot of negative stigma around guys going up and approaching girls. Like, yeah, I want a specific guy to approach me, etc., etc. And the thing is, they want the freedom, but they don't want the consequences that come with that. So they want guys to approach them, but they don't like when guys they're not interested in approaches them. It's like you're either doing one or nothing. That's kind of how it is. So, I think people need to learn how to understand these dynamics and take into account that a woman a lot of times will make the first move, but for guys, even if she doesn't make the first move and you're interested, still go up and still, shoot your shot and try, because you never know. You never know. She could be thinking about you for those 15 seconds and, like she wished you approached, but you never did. So as it's on us, usually we just have to take the risk to see where it goes.
A lot of the questions that I bring up on my channel, people often tell me are things they've thought about before. Why do you think these topics are never commonly talked about?
I think that's a good one. I think it's really tough to talk about it because you have people on both sides of the spectrum. Like, I would consider myself like a feminist, and like I don't love everything that the patriarchy brings to the table. But I'm not like mad at these questions because it is interesting to just sit back and think about. So, but I think that it makes people uncomfortable. Like, you kind of caught us off guard with these questions, like they weren't black and white.
No, that's so fair.
So I think that just, I mean, it's just about being in your comfort zone, and people don't like being outside their comfort zone.
I think that was a solid way to end it. Yeah, people hate being in their comfort zones. People don't like these tough, hard-hitting questions because it opens up some inconsistency in what they're doing and how they're seeing the world. So people want to, kind of shy away from really tackling these questions directly. But, as the ladies said all throughout the video, that's just society. That's just the world and how it is. So, be sure to leave your thoughts down below. And as always, remember to stay official. Peace.